Hello and welcome to All About Footy, Episode 2. I'm joined, as per usual, I guess, for the All About Footy episodes with Daniel today.
Hello.
So thank you, Daniel, for joining us.
You're welcome.
And as mentioned previously in our podcast episode, I believe it was episode number 8, we're going to be discussing about Canada's, I guess, like CONCACAF qualifier, like World Cup window, their November window of 2021.
Yeah.
And we played 2 games, Costa Rica and Mexico. So we're going to do a little bit in depth on both those two first. And then from there, we'll just soccer for this whole time, which I'm super excited about. But so, spoiler alert, Canada got all 6 points. If you guys remember what I said, if we got 6 points, I'd be ecstatic. Over the moon ecstatic. I was anticipating 4. But 6, I thought it was a realistic chance, and I was genuinely over the moon. So let's start with the Costa Rica match. So the first game was played November 12th, Friday.
Yeah.
Canada ended up winning 1-0.
Luckily.
Lucky, yes. Yeah, we'll definitely go more in depth into there. But so our goal was scored by Jonathan David from a cross. And you and I were speaking earlier today, so what was the biggest thing about that goal for you?
Canada got lucky that Keylor Navas was in a net and it was a no-name person, because Navas does not drop that ball.
That's not like, let's not take away from, like, the cross was decent, the effort from David, the first touch after the goalie dropped the ball was brilliant. Like, let's not take anything away in there. But yeah, against a world-class goalie like Navas, he does not drop that, and he doesn't give you the ball just to kick it in like that. You're absolutely right.
Canada did have the advantage there, because that was 3 minutes after the bicycle kick, Buchanan. Beautiful effort.
That Buchanan bicycle kick was outstanding.
Can you even call it a bicycle kick? It was more of a scissor kick than a bicycle kick.
Maybe, I don't know, but like it was. All I know is it was insane. Like,
it was something just not normal. Like,
100% agree. Like, we were in the stands and everybody just was so quiet after. We're like, oh my god, that was so cool. That was so close. But like, the game, the way it started is like Canada was dominating offensively for like the first, no exaggeration, probably 20 minutes. Like, this is obviously, I don't have the stats off like top of my on hand right now in front of me, and I don't think there is a way of finding out this stat anyways. But I'd say like we probably had like 80 to 90% possession in the first 20 to 30 minutes. Like, we were just dominating, but we weren't getting really any big chances, and it was terrifying. I was like, as a fan watching, that was the scariest thing, because it's like it's a game of like momentum, and Canada had all the momentum, but like this, every second they weren't scoring, oh buddy, their chances are. It was stressful.
I also think it's just the field too. It was not a world-class field. It wasn't as bad as Jamaican field, but
artificial turf is garbage, especially for international football.
Yeah. So they had to get used to the field.
Yeah, and I would agree. I mean, they practice on artificial turf leading up and all week after as well, leading up to the Mexico game. So I think it was like the cold, and I think the cold helped us a lot, especially in the Mexico game, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But the Costa Rica game, it was interesting because like Costa Rica, they didn't have their best player in Keylor Navas, and if I'm not mistaken, they were actually missing their best fullback, their best player, field player too, with their fullback. I forget the guy's name. It ends with something EO though. Like, I completely forget. But yeah, they were and you can tell like they were missing some class. Like, they just didn't have the talent on the pitch. That a perennial like they made the last two World Cups. They're a good team.
Costa Rican team is this Costa Rican team, like even their best 11 is still a far cry from what it was last.
Could not agree more. I could not agree more. But it's still a perennial World Cup qualifier, really, if you think about it. Like, in the last 8 years, they're one of the better teams in CONCACAF, right?
Yeah.
If you really think about it, the top 3 for the longest time were Costa Rica, Mexico, and the States. Different last time because the States didn't qualify, but right, like it's Costa Rica's always been a decent team, and they have the talent. Like, they're just a little bit of an older team, which another thing, that's what I was scared of too. It's like I was scared of the other team's experience that they had over us, and that could have been an issue. But Canada did a really good job, man. Like, they kept on attacking, they kept on going forward. They only won 1-0 against Costa Rica, but a win is a win, you know. And After their win against Mexico, they're the only remaining undefeated team in CONCACAF. Like, knock on wood as we speak. But the Costa Rica game was, and honestly, Costa Rica was the worst game Canada played in this World Cup qualifier, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
It was
even hard to watch on TV.
Yeah. And then, like, Borjan wasn't tested too much. He made a save or two, but and then Hutchinson came on in the second half, I think, for the cap that tied the record of most Canadian men's caps. And it was, yeah, I mean, the goal was much needed, and it should have been more. My biggest disappointment in the game, and this isn't nothing against them, okay? Like, I'm happy that they won, but everybody can always improve. But I was like, Davies' first home game here, I think he was just nervous and he tried too much. Yeah. Like, there was like 4 or 5 times where he tried to like outskill, like dribble past like 4 or 5 defenders, where he could have made the pass and like done a give and go kind of thing. But I think he was trying to show off for his friends and family and for the city who was there to support him. Because let's be real, like at the game, who had the loudest ovation? Davies. It was Davies, and it wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure he's the only name that the announcer at the stadium got right too. Yep. Like those announcers are so bad there, dude. And then I thought the Costa Rica officiating was like, it was pretty bad, but it was still better. Like one of the better games that we've had all year. Yeah. The it was decent. But after seeing the game yesterday, I can never complain about officials again, because yesterday's game against Mexico was like an atrocity to football. It was just an absolute embarrassment.
Yeah, it was terrible, rough.
I guess that's a segue to speak about Mexico, though. Like that. So first off, Canada wins 2-1. It could have easily been 4 or 5-0 if the refs would have called what they were supposed to. There's 2 blatant penalties. There was probably actually a red card with a cleat up tackle on Eustachio at half. Like, they just didn't call that. And of the first 10 minutes of the game, Mexico's players were on the ground for 6. Yeah. It was an embarrassment. And then the fans starting to scream those homophobic and racial slurs and chants and everything, and then now we all get a warning. It's just brutal, man. Like, there's a reason that Mexico has no fans in their next 2 games. They got punished by FIFA because of these chants that their fans decide to start. Yeah. It's a joke.
It's bad. But they lost, so we're going to let the losers leave in peace.
But this cold, greatly. Like, that first goal does not go... Like, that is a save that is either completely, like, caught by Ochoa or parried away properly by Ochoa. But I guarantee you, his hands were freezing, and it went straight to Laren for the easy tap.
Not just that. He's not saving a ball at that point. He's saving a rock.
Like, how many of them do you think actually got concussions last game from heading the ball?
Probably a few.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
That was cold, but after like 10 minutes, it was fine, because we didn't stop yelling, we didn't stop jumping.
It was insane. The atmosphere of the game, there was 44,000 plus at the game, and like minus 15 with windshield, minus like 18 I think is what it was with windshield. Yeah. And it was electric. Mm-hmm. Mexico came off to a significantly better start than Costa Rica did. Yeah. And Borjan, if I'm not mistaken, made like 5 big saves.
Especially that last
big saves. Yeah, the goal line save to preserve the win for sure. But honestly, that shouldn't have even had to have happened if the ref would have actually done his job. Like, there was 2 clear tackles from behind in the box. The ref actually pushed Steven Vittoria, and Vittoria smacked the ref's hands down. He's just like, and then they started yelling at each other. Herdman and what is it? Tata or Tete? The Mexican coach.
I think it's Tete.
Fernandez or something? I have no idea. But they got into a fight, like verbal, obviously. They started yelling at each other, and they both got yellows. Like, and then like at the end of the game, it was like an all-out brawl in the middle of the field, because like, yeah, just classless performance by Mexico in every facet of the way imaginable. Yeah, it was genuinely embarrassing for them.
The Mexicans didn't want to leave, and the Canadians didn't want to let them leave without embarrassing them even more.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like good. Borjan is the one that like ran in there and just, because it was mostly Buchanan and Larea. They're the 2 hotheads of the team. But like, I respect Buchanan and Larea for it. Buchanan, he's a little bit too much of a hothead, but like they stand up for themselves, and they don't put up with the abuse that Mexico was doing. Like Mexico was dirty all game. Every single second of the game, they were doing these dirty little tackles, and like they would get touched, they would dive on the floor as if they just got shot. Like, oh my gosh, dude! Like, genuinely, the first 10 minutes, 6 of them were spent waiting for the Mexicans to get off the ground.
Yeah.
And like just crying over every single tackle, and it was so evident that the ref wanted Mexico to win instead of Canada. It was so evident, and obviously we can say, oh, maybe you're biased, but like this, I've never in my entire life seen worse officiating in a professional game in my life. Like, this VAR needs to be included. There has to be VAR.
Yeah, there has to be VAR for the next qualifiers.
Like 2 missed penalties.
Yeah.
And probably 2 red cards missed, to be completely honest with you. Like, we probably deserved a couple extra yellows too, because we had a couple dirty tackles. But it's like, but like yellows. We only got the dirty tackles because they were doing it to us, and we were just standing up for ourselves. Buchanan mostly. I'm
surprised that Daniil Henry didn't get a yellow in the first minute of the game.
Well, he got a yellow after.
Yeah. Then the first minute of the game when he completely took out the Mexican player.
I'm glad you brought up Daniil Henry. Like, he's a physical style of player, and I think that's why he was starting the starting lineup. Yeah. But how brilliant was that substitute by Herdman?
Oh,
like the Vittoria and Henry switch. I was surprised
Vittoria didn't start with Henry.
Well, no, honestly, I thought it was going to be Vittoria Miller again. Because I genuinely feel Kamal Miller has turned into our best central defenseman.
Yeah.
Our central defender. Mexico had 3 legitimate chances in the first half, and they were all stopped by brilliant defensive plays by Kamal Miller. Mm-hmm. Like the one tackle, 2 times he goes to ground and he gets only ball. Mm-hmm. And like, he's one of the few people that I see, well, okay, you're going to ground, you're going to get the ball, as opposed to like, don't go to ground, he's going to fall. Like, there was nothing. And in a game where the ref was looking for every possible way of calling, like, it was such a clean tackle that the Mexican player didn't even fall to the ground. He kept on running because he thought he still had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you were to just blow a quick little bit of wind on the Mexican player, they'd fall on the ground. Like, it was just an actual a disgrace to football, like their performance. Like, it was just, and then their fans were classless too with their chants. Like, I don't want this whole episode to be just bashing those fans and those players and the ref, but like, just genuinely, it was just embarrassing to watch. And we got a warning at halftime. It's like, hey, if you're gonna do this again, then FIFA's gonna sanction you. We all knew who it was. It was the one section over there. They were like whistling when the Canadians were going on and everything. And then after all of that, after the announcement, that section was quiet.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. And then you saw security all over there just, escorting him out if they got too rowdy and said stupid stuff. Which I'm glad that they got kicked out because they got to miss the insane ending.
Yeah, Mexico almost tied it.
They were so close.
I mean, the first goal shouldn't have happened. It was a terrible defensive play by Canada. We just shut off for a bit.
Completely agree. We just didn't get to the corner. We didn't get to the cross. You're defending the last few seconds. You're getting to the ball immediately.
Not just that, but Jonathan Osorio just gave up on the Mexican player who delivered the cross. Osorio was beside him the whole time.
Yeah,
and then he just gave up.
100%.
We just let him run.
100%. And then that second the goal line clearance, that was pretty huge. But honestly, with VAR, it wouldn't have counted because it was a handball. But it probably still would have counted because, they want Mexico to win. I'm amazed it didn't count it actually in the first place, to be completely honest with you. I'm amazed. The ball was didn't go over the line at all. It was still on the pitch, but like the ref would have probably I want Mexico to win. I should just count this. It was just embarrassing. But Borjan was probably the player of the game for me in the second game. He made, I think, Mexico finished with 16 total shots, 8 of them on goal.
Yeah.
So he would have made 7 saves.
7 saves, yeah.
And they weren't easy saves.
There's a couple
two were decently easy, but then the rest of them were like big quality saves.
Yeah.
Right?
There was one where he just lunged at pretty much almost to the penalty spot pretty much still and got the cross down. And if he didn't do that, Mexico was going to score.
Yep.
Canada switched off again.
Yeah, so this is a huge learning lesson for them, I think, because this is the first time they had real big adversity. Thank you. This is the first time they had big adversity like that. I feel in the in these qualifiers where a team was likely going to come back and tie it or could come back and win it.
Yeah.
The quality that the Mexican team has, it's so good. Like, that is such a skilled team, such a talented team. Mm-hmm. I'm just embarrassed that they had to resort to such juvenile and disgraceful behavior, to be completely honest with you.
I'm still surprised at how the atmosphere the Canadian fans had. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was... Like, all my friends, they were asking me how it was, and the best way I could describe it is it's a playoff hockey game, but any chant starts real easily, and instead of 16,000 people saying, you got 44,000.
Yeah, it's a hockey atmosphere on steroids. That was an incredible atmosphere that game.
I did not expect that from Edmonton.
We were all freezing. Everybody was so cold. We didn't care. Yeah, but that's the thing. We were all jumping up and down. Like, after that second goal, I was throwing my pizza everywhere. Like, I was just so excited.
And Pretty sure I love how we started chanting "Ole, ole, ole" just to spite the Mexicans.
Yeah, and then the na 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 goodbye song at the end. Yeah, that was good. The atmosphere was electric, man, and it's such a good. Like, Herdman was brilliant for deciding to pick this because the cold helped. The cold most certainly helped us.
Yeah, but I also think that the reason he picked it is because if you were going to play in Edmonton, you needed 2 games. Like, the only games you play are at home for that window. You couldn't have gone to Edmonton and gone to Honduras.
Completely agree.
It would have ruined your squad.
Their next one is going to be probably in Toronto, I'd say.
It should be, yeah.
It would make the most sense. I think it's going to be Toronto because they have the most international flights. Like, Toronto, Honduras, Toronto, and then El Salvador. Because that's going to be a tough. Like, Honduras and El Salvador are the 2 bottom teams. So, theoretically, because we're a better team, we should be winning. But we're going to get garbage officiating as per usual. And physical/dirty teams in both Honduras and El Salvador. Like, do you remember the El Salvador game and how they just abused Buchanan? Like, there was 3 reds by 1 player alone against Buchanan. So that's going to be an interesting one. I'm hoping that, like, they keep their cool, get a 2-0 lead, and then just, like, I don't know, somebody needs to stand up for the players.
I also like that after, because we scored right before halftime. In the second half, we came out, and we still came out firing. We didn't try to defend a 1-0 lead.
Oh, I completely agree. And I think it's Herdman. Yeah, Herdman's mentality is like, boys, this isn't done. Like, we still need to go out and attack. After the second goal, though, they did let up quite a bit.
Yeah, they let off. Like, and that's still, like what you said, experience. Because they let off way too much. In the 90th minute. They let off way too much. They did not pressure any of the center backs. Mm-hmm. They let Mexico walk the ball up into the Canadian third. Right, like in the third of the field, that's the defensive side for Canada. They just let them walk in there, like no pressure whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. What they probably should have ended up doing is they should have taken off one of their 2 strikers for a defensive mid, like a Piet or Marc-Anthony Kaye. Mm-hmm. Or actually, I would have probably done Marc-Anthony Kaye because he's a tall dude, big dude who could defend crosses. Yeah. Bring in one of those, and then the other striker. So I would have taken both Laren and Davies off. Actually, probably put Davies in the wing. But I would have brought in Marc-Anthony Kaye to defend. And if he wasn't fit because he played against Costa Rica, I would have put in Samuel Piet. And then I would have definitely brought in... David got brought in, but Cavallini. Cavallini is the guy that comes in for that. He is the guy who can go up in the top, but he only came in for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, he came in for David.
He should have come in a little bit sooner, in my opinion.
I don't think we should have played Osorio.
Osorio probably shouldn't have. He's more offensively minded. Yeah. He's an incredible player. He's our best attacking mid, in my opinion.
Yeah, but you don't put him on in the last 5 minutes.
And that's the thing, right? And then maybe I would have put Osorio instead of Eustaquio because Osorio is a better overall player than Eustaquio.
Yeah, but Eustaquio got you that second goal.
But you're not trying to score goals anymore. You're trying to defend it.
Oh yeah, you put on first for Eustaquio. You're right.
Right.
But I thought you were talking about starting him.
No. The starting lineup, you can't complain. They played well.
Yeah.
The only difference, and Herdman acknowledged it himself by making that move, was Daniel Henry. And it's not a knock on Daniel Henry. Daniel Henry can play against some very good opposition. He's just not fast enough anymore.
Yeah.
And he's still a young dude. He's 27, 28. So he's not necessarily old by any means, but he needed to definitely... Yeah, he just wasn't fast enough. And I think we noticed that. That's why he got the yellow. He's a big physical dude, though. Like a big physical dude. And it hurt him because he got a yellow. And you know what? Probably was a yellow, to be completely honest with you. He's lucky he didn't get a red card within the first 10 minutes. But, like, to also be fair, call it both ways. Like, the Mexican players deserved
the same treatment as the Canadians. Like, I don't disagree with any of the Canadian cards, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I actually think we needed a couple more. We deserved a couple more cards.
Yeah.
Buchanan especially, for like, he literally started 2 fights and he actually threw punches at a guy at the end of the game, I saw.
Yeah.
And like, good for him though. Nobody else was standing up for you.
At the end of the game, I like how Davies was just in the corner celebrating with the fans. Davies didn't care for the brawl. He just went off to a corner by himself and started celebrating with people, just waving the flag. It was so funny.
Well, good for him, man. And then I like how Borjan came in and just separated him and just said, "Hey," I can imagine what he was saying. "Hey, don't dip down, don't dip down to their class level. Just remain classy. We're Canada," which is embarrassing, man. Like, I'm embarrassed.
He didn't say it that calmly. He's probably yelling at them.
Probably, but I'm not going to yell on here, right? But no, it's definitely along the message of what he said. Like, but yeah, it's just. The game was a good game, and like, you can't discredit Herden. Like, Herden played it brilliantly, and then so Atiba Hutchinson in the Mexico game became the all-time leader in Canadian caps with 90, and Kyle Larin tied the all-time goal scoring record for Canada with 22 goals.
And he got 13 of those this calendar year.
Yep.
13 goals in 13 games. And he's only 26.
And Jonathan David is at 18 already.
And he's only 21.
Yep. And I think of those 18, he got like 9 this year too.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have number 1 and 2 in Canada scoring next year happen for sure.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see David do it against the bigger teams, because most of his goals have come against like Suriname or whatever it's called.
Suriname, yeah. I mean, it will be interesting. First we have to qualify for the World Cup, obviously. That's the very first step. But I do think so. If we're gonna win a game in the World Cup, it's going to be reliant on Davies, David, and Buchanan. Genuinely, I think those are 3 top players up front, and Larin. So if we are front 4, I really feel strongly that it's a very strong front 4 that we have.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna but that's getting way ahead of ourselves. Like, let's wait on that for a bit, because like, we still have a lot we still have 6 games left. Our next window is in January, late January, early February, and the games are going to be away to Honduras, home in Canada against the States, away to El Salvador.
That home game in the States isn't going to be a home game.
Yes and no. I mean, if it's Toronto.
If it's Toronto, it's not a home game.
It'll be a home game, dude. There's not as many Americans here.
I mean, Toronto is right beside America.
You really... yeah, but I mean, like, Toronto's going to find a way. It's not a big stadium, number
That's
1.
True.
Number 2, they're going to find a way of selling it out. And 3, like, maybe they don't even open it to international ticket sales.
Yeah, just bring them to the Ice Tech.
Yeah, I don't see it coming here. I wish. I don't see it coming to Edmonton, though.
It's
going to be dead winter. It's going to be like minus 30, minus 40 around there.
Yeah.
And it's going to... the travel is just going to be awful. Like, John Herman really needs to figure... I see them fielding their best possible team against the States. And then I see them fielding like a couple... Like, I can see Ike Ugbo getting a start in one of Honduras and or El Salvador. I can see like Samuel Piet, those kind of guys getting the starts. Derek Cornelius getting a start. I can actually, with how Borjan was limping around these 2 games, I can see our backup Crepeau getting a start there as well. I don't think you should play all of our bench by any means. I think we should still have like Buchanan, Davies, Larin, David, Hutchinson. Like, everybody who started the last game should play 2 of the 3 games at least.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. We really need to make sure, like, really hone in on making sure that we're well rested for that U.S. game, because those are 3 crucial points. Because if we get 3 points against the States, that obviously means they get 0, and we're getting that much further ahead of them.
So right now we're 1 point ahead of them?
We're 2 points, I think.
2.
We're 2 points ahead of the States. Or no, 1 point ahead of the States, 2 points in front of Mexico and Panama.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tight. But then the Panama and drop off, so the 4th to 5th drop off is like 7 points.
7 points. Yeah.
The 1st to 4th drop up is just 2. Right?
Yeah.
So mathematically speaking, if Canada wins our 4 of the next 6 games, we're in. Just mathematically speaking.
Yeah.
But and so we're playing the third ranked Mexican team already. We've already played them twice. So now we're playing at home to the States and at home to Jamaica, which Jamaica is actually going to be a tough matchup because they're getting reinforcements now, thanks to the
Mikel Antonio.
Mikel Antonio and the rest of their Premier League players that are about to come in.
Yeah.
Jamaica's Premier League players can't play at home because of Jamaica's COVID situation. Premier League doesn't allow them to go. So I'm hoping that it's like a window where they get to play at home so they don't get the Mikel Antonios of the world joining their teams.
Yep, that'd be great for us.
That'd be huge.
Honestly, I think that if we can get... Because we still got to play Costa Rica away, too.
Yeah, so we're playing Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador, and Panama away, and then U.S. and Jamaica at home.
Yeah. So if we can get a result against the States and Costa Rica, then I honestly don't think Panama game even matters.
Panama's the last game, and I'm hoping by the end of it we don't even need to we're clinched a top 3 spot, because at the end of the day it's not your seedings. I looked it up. It's not your seeding in the World Cup qualifier like in the CONCACAF. It's like your world standing.
Yeah.
So let's be real. If Canada wins out, then you're going to be in like the third group of the World Cup, and that's the best.
I don't see us being higher than the third spot.
And I completely
agree. First pot
agree.
is 1 to 10, and the host. Second pot is that top 20, and then the third pot is.
Well, no, it's the top 10. It's not. No, it's because it's 32 teams. It's not 40 teams, right?
Oh, right.
So it's the top 8 seeds. No, the top 7 seeds plus the host team are in the first pot, which will be Qatar, obviously. And Qatar is not in the top. They're not above Canada anymore.
Can you imagine we get Qatar in our group as their top?
I would love Qatar to be our top team. But anyways, the second grouping would be ranks the 9th best to the 17th best, and then 18th to 23rd, and then 24th to 32nd, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. But so looking out this next window, we're playing away to Honduras and El Salvador, and home to the States right in the middle of the two. Canada is a better team than both Honduras and El Salvador. There's no question about that. Now, it's just tough. It's always difficult to get wins away from home in CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Genuinely, it's so difficult,
especially for Mexico or Canada and the States.
Well, yeah, because we're not used to playing in those atmospheres, and those atmospheres are insane.
They're crazy,
they're absolutely nuts. So it's like we're looking at who the other teams in our in CONCACAF are going to play. Like, I'm mostly worried about what I'm going to say. I'm mostly worried about the Panamas and Costa Ricas of the world. Panama played the easiest possible opposition. They played the easiest opposition last game. They played El Salvador, the worst team. They barely beat them at home 2-1. So Panama's next... Oh, Panama and Costa Rica play each other, so that's huge. Then Panama plays Jamaica and Mexico in the next window. Whereas Costa Rica plays Jamaica, Panama, and Mexico as well.
It's going to be tough.
That's gonna be a tough, genuinely, and this isn't me trying to be biased or anything, but if Canada wins all 3 of their games in the next window, I honestly see mathematically us being guaranteed a top 3 spot.
Yeah, because Mexico's desperate now. They're not gonna lose to Panama or Costa Rica.
Not a chance, and I think they're away at Mexico in both of those games. Yeah, Mexico's at home for both of those games.
Right, they're not losing that.
No,
and they have the fans for one of those games.
No.
Right.
They have enough, but it's still. It's home field advantage still. It's the Azteca. So the Azteca, not the Azteca. The Azteca. Yeah. But Canada has a legitimate chance at clinching a qualification in the next window. So what is your projections of how we're going to do in the next window? How many points?
We're going to draw one of the away games in Honduras or El Salvador. I'm going to say we're going to beat the States, because I want them to beat them. And then I'm going to say that we're going to win the other game of El Salvador, Honduras. I honestly think what's going to happen is we're going to draw El Salvador. It's going to be, the States is going to become a must win. And Canada and must wins in Canada. So far, we've been winning them.
Yeah, knock on wood.
And then we're gonna go to Honduras, or Herdman's not gonna let what happened in El Salvador happen in Honduras.
So Honduras is the first game, but I know what you mean. Yeah. I think realistically, 7 should be the goal. Tie one of the away games and then win the other away game and the home game. I think 7 should be the goal. I can see the States coming in here and getting a tie. I genuinely can. So I can also see 5 points happening. Mm-hmm. Anything less than 5 is a disappointment. Anything less than 5 points is not at all what you want, because that gives everybody the chance to come back.
Yeah.
I think I'd be pretty damn happy with 7, if I'm going to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Obviously ecstatic and over the moon with 9. But anywhere between 5 and 7 points. Because even if we win that's the thing though, we can't let the US game has to be at the absolute worst a tie. You cannot let the States make up ground to you in that one game like that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're fighting them, right?
Who else did the States play? They have an easy window next time, right?
Well, yeah, they would play the other group, right? Like they have us, Honduras, and El Salvador as well.
Oh yeah.
And they're at home to El Salvador. And
Honduras.
Yeah. So they have the States have a really easy window because they have the home matchups against the 2 worst teams.
And then they just have to travel a nice little bit of time to.
Because they travel to Canada. Yep. Yeah, the States have the easiest window here for sure. The States, they should be aiming for at least 7 points as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's more realistic as El Salvador, Honduras. I can't see Honduras or El Salvador putting up a challenge against them. Like, who did El Salvador and Honduras play? Did they play each other this one? No, they both played Panama, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah, like it was like Honduras played Costa Rica, El Salvador played Panama, and then El Salvador also played Jamaica, and Honduras played Panama. Honduras lost 3-2 to Panama at home.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if Honduras can beat the States, that's huge because they're dead last with only 3 points.
No, there's no way they do.
But this is, I guess, they're kind of out of it already, though.
Yeah, they're done. They're done.
Honduras is almost mathematically out of it. Same, like El Salvador is pretty much gone too. Like Honduras is 9 points behind Panama. Yeah, that means Panama has to lose. I mean, if Honduras wins all of their games remaining, Panama has to lose 3 minimum.
Yeah,
and that's not happening.
No.
Like I don't like.
Also, Honduras is not beating the States in the States.
What's the one upset you can see happening in this window, though?
Honestly, Canada getting 1 point of the 2 away games.
Like that's an upset you're thinking?
Yeah. If we lose 1 and draw 1 in Honduras and El Salvador, that's an upset.
Oh, just 1 total point. Yeah,
1 total point in the 2 away games.
Yeah, it's playing away in Central America is so difficult, and yeah, I can see those matches being difficult.
Anytime Canada has gone to Central America and needed a win, they've gotten embarrassed.
Okay, but recently. That's previous Canadian teams.
Oh, I know.
I understand like using the statistics and the numbers, but this is a completely different.
It is a completely different team, but still,
this is a team like previous Canadian teams didn't outclass other teams. Like we didn't have better players. Like player on player, we weren't better players. I don't remember the last time Canada had a better team than any team in CONCACAF that was in the final 8 right now. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I do think
Herdman, so I have a lot of faith in him.
I do think genuinely I do see us tying one of the away legs, and I see it being the first one in Honduras, but Honduras is the worst team, and I think actually we're gonna want revenge on Honduras for tying them at home, so. And that was a bad game that they played too.
Yeah,
the Honduras.
That was their first game too.
So it's all on Herdman. Hopefully it's all reliant on injuries too. Hopefully none of our big guys are injured, but we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping it's like an early. We get off to like a 3-0 lead at half, and then we can sub out our biggest names. And I don't think that's unrealistic because the Honduras is gonna start quick because they're gonna have their home crowd there. So you're obviously going to be defending. But, like, neither of those pitches are bad, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they're pretty good stadiums and great pitches to play on. So it's like, yeah. The next window is going to be interesting. The next window, we play the 2 worst teams in all of CONCACAF and then the States. So this is where we have our best chance at getting a favorable result. This is where we really have to show up, Canada does, and show their class. And I think Herdman's one of the best coaches in the world. Let's not even kid ourselves. One of the best managers of the game. So, and I think we have enough experience where Osorio starts 2 of the games easy for me. Just his experience.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. I'm hoping and I honestly, I can see Laren David starting up front with Davies and Buchanan as the wingers for the States games. I haven't liked Alphonso Davies as a striker.
No, me neither. He's not a striker.
No. I think they need to move him back to wing because I think he's better there.
What I'm really happy with this window is that we won both games without Alphonso Davies, really. Like
without him being our best player, I could not agree more.
Yeah, like he didn't really impact the game too much.
I could not agree more. I absolutely agree. And I think he'll wake up because he's happy that they won, but I guarantee he's a little disappointed in his personal performance. Oh, yeah. He's a competitor, man. Like, how are you not? And again, this isn't a knock on Alphonso Davies. He's an exceptional player and like genuinely makes this entire city beyond proud. He could have played better. I think he'll be the first one to tell you. And he could have done more by doing less. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to deke out their entire team. Yeah. But against Honduras and El Salvador, he can easily deke out their entire team.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to. He's
not going to have to, right? But we'll see, because this is the easiest window we're going to get. Honduras and El Salvador, those 2 away. And I don't know what the number is, but I do think it's like below 30% of the time the away team gets a point in CONCACAF, which is an insane stat.
Yeah.
It's so tough to win away at CONCACAF or get points away at CONCACAF. That's why, like, if anybody asks me what my favorite results are, it's the away ties at US and Mexico.
Yeah. Especially Mexico.
Yeah. And then the US, how we came back and tied it up, that was a huge one too. Mm-hmm. I think our biggest challenge, obviously, is going to be the States moving forward. Yeah. I think they're an unbelievable team, and they're only going to get better right now. And they have some young guys coming up that didn't even play much.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty insane. So I think that's really it for today then. Hey, like, there's nothing else to recap. Like, we won 1-0 against Costa Rica, 2-1 against Mexico. The official in the Mexico game was an idiot. Like, the worst ref I've seen in my entire life of watching soccer, and that's nowhere near an understatement. That's the understatement of the century. That's not an exaggeration at all. Like, it was the worst official I've seen in my life. But that's the kind of official we're going to get. And we beat Mexico with a garbage official. So if we can beat Mexico with this garbage, we can beat anyone, really. I mean, I guess it was home. But we had, like, the officiating was as if it was an away game. Really. But yeah. Hopefully, I'm just nervous for injuries, man. Like, El Salvador is so dirty. Panama was super dirty against us. So, I mean, that's a Central and South American style of football anyways. It's a little physical, dirty kind of style. But anywho, thank you, everybody, for listening to this All About Footy episode 2. We're going to have another All About Footy episode where we're going to recap the next window. And you know what? I think the women are playing again, so we might have an All About Footy episode coming up for the right after the women's game. So thank you for tuning in to All About Footy episode 2. Tune in soon for the next podcast episode and our next midweek episode where we're going to talk about the Ottawa Senators prospects. Not Montreal Canadiens, the Ottawa Senators prospects. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later on this week.